Good morning, everyone. So, this is our revision class of business law. So, first topic of today is Indian Contract Act and its main provisions. So, Indian Act is applicable to whole India. It is related to the contract between two or more parties. So, first we need to understand what is a contract. So, contract is defined as an agreement which is enforceable by law. Now, the question arises that what is an agreement? So, the agreement is every promise or every set of promise forming consideration for each other. Consideration is basically the return benefit of parties to a contract. So now agreement comprises of offer plus acceptance. When one party offer something to other party and the other party accepted the offer of other party, this comprises as agreement. If you want to know the difference between agreement and a contract, so the agreement consists of two things, which is offer and acceptance, whereas a contract is created by two things, which is agreement and its legal enforceability. That means when an agreement is enforceable by law, it is called a contract. An agreement may create a social or a legal obligation, but a contract is only a legal obligation between two parties. All the agreements do not become contract because of absence of legal enforceability, but all contracts, when it is in making, it first need to become an agreement. Then when the legal enforceability comes into focus, the agreement become a contract. Now we need to know, according to Indian Contract Act, what are the essentials of a valid contract. So a valid contract need to have certain essentials according to Indian Contract Act. First, there need to be an agreement, which is a valid offer and a valid acceptance. Then both parties or all the parties involved in a contract have an intention to create legal relationship. Then it comes free consent. That means the consent of both the parties need to be free. Another essential is lawful consideration. That means the thing you uh, get in return out of a contract need to be lawful. Next essential element is the capacity of party. Both all the parties need to have capacity to make enter into a contract. Then free consent, that means consent of all the parties need to be free. They need to be agree on same thing in same sense. Then it comes to legality of object, that means the objective of creating a contract need to be legal, it should not be illegal. Then there need to be a possibility of performance, that means you cannot make contract of to perform impossible things. And last but not the least, there need to be you have to be in legal formalities, that means everything in contract you need to have in black and white form. Now we come to the classification of contract. So on the basis of various factors, we can classify the contract into three categories. First is legal effect, second is on the basis of performance, yeah, amount of performance, and third is on the basis of formation. First, on the basis of legal effect, first kind of contract is valid contract. So what is a valid contract? According to Indian Contract Act, a valid contract is a contract which have all the essentials of a valid contract under the Indian Contract Act. So if a contract between two parties have all the essentials of a valid contract, which we have discussed earlier, that is called a valid contract. Second is void contract. So the void contract is a contract which cannot be enforced by either party, which is invalid from its initiation. So the law treats a void contract act as it has never been formed. It has not been formed. Third is voidable contract. Voidable contract is at the time of making a contract, it seems as a valid contract, but at the time of performance or in between, it was found that the contract is void or can be avoided by one or more parties. So such contracts are known as voidable contract. Then there is a illegal contract. So illegal contract means there is anything, it could be objective or consideration uh, involved in a contract is illegal. So if anything involved which is forbidden by law in a contract, the contract is considered as illegal contract. Then it comes to last kind of contract in the category of legal effect, unenforceable contract. It's, consider a situation where you lost all the evidence of a contract. That means everything related to a contract was valid, but you cannot enforce a contract because you have lost all the evidence. So a contract which was valid, but you cannot enforce it due to any technical or physical reason, such uh, contracts are called unenforceable contract. Then we need to come to on the basis of formation of contract. There are three kind of contract on the basis of formation. First is express contract. When the contract are in either written or oral form, that means every terms of a contract you need to convey in writing or orally, it is called express contract. Then it comes to implied contract. When the contract are neither written nor oral, but the circumstances itself create a situation where you enter into a contract is called implied contract. For example, if you hire a public transport to travel from one place to another, that means you are agreeing, you are accepting the offer of the transporter, and you are ready to pay the price of uh, travel. So this is called implied contract. There is a kind of contract which is known as quasi contract. So basically quasi contract is not a type of contract, it is basically a situation which can impose enforceability by law to a person. So you see there are two essentials of a contract according to Indian Contract Act. First is uh, agreement between parties, and second is enforceability by law. So where there is a situation where two parties have never entered into a contract, that means there is absence of agreement between two parties, but the situation where the legal enforceability comes into force, such situations are called quasi contracts. Now on the basis of performance, there are four kind of performance, there are four kind of contract. First is executed contract. That means the obligation of both the parties have been performed. So the contract is known as executed contract. Executory contract are those contracts where both the parties or one party has not performed his part of obligation, it is yet to be performed. So the contract is called executory contract. There is a unilateral contract, that means one party or one person has to perform his obligation, but other party need not to perform his obligation. Such contracts are called unilateral contract. Bilateral contracts are the common contracts in which both parties has to perform some or the other thing. So such contract is called bilateral performance. Now we come to essentials of a contract. And the main essential of a contract, and first and foremost essential of a contract, is agreement, and which comprises of offer and acceptance. So how you can define an offer? So in Indian Contract Act, offer is defined as when a person signifies to another his willingness to do or to abstain from doing something with a view to obtain his assent of that other to such act or absence he is said to make a proposal. That means when a person identify another person and convey his willingness to do something or not to do something with a point of view to obtain his consent, so that situation is called one person is making an offer. So there are various kinds of offer. First is expressed offer, second is implied offer. What is an express offer? Express offer is the offer in which orally or in written form you need to convey your willingness. Implied offer, when the offer is not conveyed in oral or written form, it is implied with a gesture of a person, or when you do certain things you uh, convey that you are offering something. For example, if you open a shop, so whatever you displayed in your shop, it is open for sale, so it is an implied offer. Then it comes to a specific offer. That means when an offer is for a specific person, for a certain person, it is called a specific offer. Whereas when the offer is implied to word at large or general public, it is called general offer. That means, for example, you can say that if you got the offer of employment, it is a specific offer, it is addressed to you only. But when something is open for sale, it is a general offer, because whosoever accept the offer can give his acceptance. Then another type of offer is cross offer. So the cross offer is the situation where both the parties offer each other same thing, just because they don't know that other party is also offering same thing. So when the identical things offered by two parties to each other is called cross offer. Then another kind of offer is counter offer. When a person to whom offer is made, he is not accepting all the terms of offer, but he wants to modify the offer, is called counter offer. So the cross offer, counter offer, these two types of offer is not valid offer in Indian Contract Act. And then last one is a standing offer. For a particular time period, when an offer is remain open for the acceptor, it is called standing offer. There are certain rules which is mentioned in Indian Contract Act regarding offer. These are like that: offer must be given with the intention to create legal relationship. That means when you want to create a contract and you further step forward to make an offer, you need to have to make your mind that you need to create a legal relationship with the other party who accept your offer. Then offer must be definite. That means offer need not to be vague, need to be certain. There is a difference between offer and invitation to offer. That means the offer you made is not similar to invitation to offer. Offer must be communicated. That means communication of offer is required in case of legal offer. And last one, mere statement of price is not an offer. For example, if a person asks you what should be the price of certain thing, and you just make an statement that this should be the price of that particular thing, it does not implies that you have accepted the offer or you have made the offer. Now, agreement is comprises of two things, which is offer and acceptance. So first we had discussed about the offer, now we will discuss about acceptance. So acceptance means when the person to whom proposal is made, he give their assent thereto, is called it is called that he has accepted the offer. That means to whom the offer is made, if that person accept your offer, if that person show consent to your offer, that means he has accepted the offer. So there are certain rules regarding acceptance of offer. So first is acceptance must be absolute and unconditional. That means you cannot accept an offer by applying if and but or by modifying the offer. You need to give absolute acceptance. That means acceptance in whole. Then acceptance must be given as per the mode prescribed by the offerer. If the offerer uh, communicated that if you have accepted the offer, if you need to accept the offer, you need to do certain things that implies that you have accepted the offer. So you need to give the acceptance in that particular prescribed mode. You need to give acceptance for that. Acceptance must be given before the time lapse or within reasonable time. See, if the time is provided to accept the offer, that means, for example, uh, if you have if a person offer you a job and he has given you time limit of 1 month, that you need to accept this offer within 1 month. So that 1 month time limit is your time. So you need to accept this of the offer uh, in that particular 1 month. Beyond that, the offer will be lapsed. Then acceptance may be given by any person in case of general offer. That means if offer is made in general, so the acceptance could be given by any person who want to accept the offer. Then acceptance must be given by the person to whom the offer is made or by an authorized person. That means if offer is made to a specific person, so the acceptance must be given by that specific person, or any authorized person like agent or manager can also give acceptance on his behalf. Then acceptance must be communicated. Likewise, the offer must be communicated, the acceptance must also be communicated. Then mental acceptance of is no acceptance, or acceptance must not be derived from silence. That means if you have accepted the offer, you need to communicate it. If you accepted an offer and you became silent, that does not imply that you have accepted the offer. So this was all about agreement, which is first essential of a valid contract. Now we come to consideration. So consideration is something in return. something, when you enter into a contract, you need to perform something, you have certain obligations to perform. In return you get something. So whatever you get in return is called consideration in eyes of law. So consideration is defined as when, at the desire of promisor or promisee or any other person, has done or abstain from doing, or does or abstains from doing, or promises to do or to abstain from doing something, such act or abstain or promise is called consideration for the promise. So a party to an agreement who promises to do something must gain something in return. This something it is in return is called consideration. There are certain rules regarding the consideration as well. So first rule is consideration must be provided at the desire of promiser. That means the promiser means offerer. So who offers the consideration must be at the desire of the promiser. Then it may be provided by the promisee or any other person. So the consideration uh, must be provided by the promisee, that means who accept the offer, that person need to provide the consideration, or any other person, if the case may be, if the case required that any other person need to give consideration, that means the other person need to give the consideration. And then the consideration may be past, present or future. So the consideration, you can make a contract for the past consideration, present consideration or consideration in future. Then the consideration need not to be adequate. It must be something which has certain value in eyes of law, but uh, it should be adequate. It is not required as per contract act. Then the consideration must be real, certain and possible. That means an imaginary consideration is no consideration in eyes of law. It must not be illegal, immoral or opposed to any public policy. That means the consideration must not be illegal. That means the consideration should be lawful. It should not oppose to any public policy. It should not be harmful for social or moral values of society. See, there is a rule that if there is no consideration, there is no contract. But there are certain cases where consideration is not required when you are entering into a contract. So these are situations where consideration is not required to create a contract, and still the contract is legal contract. So first exception of contract without consideration is when a contract is made on basis of love and affection. That means if your father is writing his will and he is transferring certain property to you, that means the father is getting no consideration for doing such thing. So this is a valid contract without consideration. Then compensation for voluntary services. That means if you are voluntarily doing something to other, for that you need not to have consideration in return. Then promise to pay a time bar debt. So time bar debt are those debt which for which time has lapses. So for paying such time bar debts, no consideration is required. Then in case of gifts, there is no consideration required in return. Then no consideration is necessary to create agency. When you see the contract of agency, there is no need of consideration to create agency. So the agent does not require consideration for agency. He can only earn profit and he can share profit for contract of agency. Likewise, the in case of charity and in case of guarantee by surety, you need not no consideration for making such contract. So this is all about consideration.